Twig, through to a grand final, second in 3 years. Must be absolutely thrilled with that performance.
Yeah, it was a good game. Had a lot in it. The first quarter was really 101 finals footy, and I thought they were playing better than we were. I just thought we just second to the ball. Had a couple of good looks through the corridor, but just skill error. But the right way of playing, just skill error. So under siege a bit in the back line the first quarter, but the way the back stood up, I thought it helped the margin only be, was it 5-6 points at the break. But from quarter time, I felt the moment where we chained through the corridor and Cootie kicked the goal, I thought the whole game changed. And yeah, there was a few things happening strategically that we just had to get right. And as the game progressed, I felt like we were able to have more time and the ball in our forward half. And 2 goals 7 in the third quarter was a bit agitating, but overall the way of playing was excellent.
Nervous start in the first term. Did you put that down to Central's having a finals game the week before and your lads not?
Potentially,
yeah,
it's always subjective as to where it comes from, but I did feel as though their match hardness towards having played the week before may have been to their advantage, but all in all it was us getting outmarked, poor entries, just getting second to the ball, only talking a metre and a step, but it was enough. And yeah, I felt as though the game looked more in their favour to quarter time. But the beauty about this group, Josh, is they have learned how to adjust in game, and that's one of the greatest challenges in this job. Is when you need to try and change something on the run. It's great to identify it, but 2, have a solution, and then 3, actually go and get it done, and that's what this group can do.
Aiden Grace was the match winner last week and I think had no impact on the game. Tom Donnelly did an amazing job on him.
Tom's an absolute pro. It shouldn't be taken for granted the jobs he does for our footy club and footy team. He's just grown his footy so much over the last 3 years and reflective of being the fullback and team of the year. And Grace is challenging the matchup in this comp because he's quick, he's dynamic, he can jump, he's creative, so he's got a lot of things that ask questions, but Tom was very well armed and ready to go for what strategy was going to work against him, and yeah, to basically keep him goalless. I think the one he got was from advantage, and there was 2v1 the goal square, so really good battle. They do respect each other, both of them, but to be able to take away their potential, certainly match winner the previous week, was a big thing for us to get done.
Yeah, and Lord had about 20 disposals, was really good, but he played on Dudley, who didn't touch the ball until the third quarter.
Right, I didn't realise that, but love how Lordy played. He was in the game the first quarter, probably wasn't as efficient as he could have been, but yeah, he won some good one-on-one contests in the air. He drove his legs at good times, he made calm decisions. He's been a huge acquisition to our team this year. Hey Lord, he's a great young man. He's a really happy, positive guy, but he's ruthlessly competitive. And you mentioned Dudley, we put time into and we offer him the opportunity, and he generally rises when we ask him to get something done, Alistair, and he did it again for us.
How important was the first run around on Adelaide Oval? How many first finalists were there, and I guess first gamers on Adelaide Oval?
Yeah, I think it was 8. Yeah, we asked the question of the group the other day, and just because a few of us had been there a couple of years ago, we shouldn't assume that everyone's okay with it, but we put a bit of time into that chat the other day, and yeah, natural feeling was excited, nervous, a bit of both, but what we were was really well organised with what comes with playing at Adelaide Oval, and just logistics of car parks and change rooms being different and what time you're allowed on the ground. All that stuff was Richard Kelly and Brendan Wilson, who managed that side of the program, were 10 out of 10 last week with setting it up for the players, and then it's over to the players to prepare accordingly, and I thought they were able to do it really professionally.
Yeah, and I guess Centrals are used to playing on a big ground as well, and Adelaide Oval was bigger than most SANFL grounds, so Centrals played beautifully on it last week. You must have done a lot of work on knowing it was going to be a big ground against a team like that. Yeah,
the guys have shown a great capacity to enjoy playing on the bigger grounds, and they love playing at home, that's obvious, but the bigger ground thing has always been mythical for me. This group's conditioned to play on any type of ground, any conditions, and Adelaide Oval is probably one that our guys do enjoy playing on, the ones who have been here for a few years, but yeah, I think our running profile came to the fore as the game went on yesterday and the ground started to open up a little bit, so we enjoyed playing there.
Yeah. Billy Curdy looked like he belonged at Adelaide Oval in September, didn't he?
Excellent game. Yeah, he's just continued to improve his footy all year, Bill. He's a genuine contest-to-contest runner. He's both sides. He's a scorer. Thought his goal in the second quarter was absolutely terrific, and was at the start of last he kicked the running check side, and probably felt like we might have put the game away once he did that. So he's very popular with the teammates. Don't think there's anyone who's working harder on their game as what Billy is, and it's great to see individuals get rewards.
Mel's kicked a career high 3 goals and a pretty special one that curled about 12 metres in the air.
Well, he tried one out here, I think it might have been against North Adelaide, and just hit the post, a similar distance and kick. So it was more than that for Mel's. It was good that he impacted with his scoring, but his tackling was, I think he had 8. He's running, he's starting to really come to life, and he's having some really good moments with his hands in close. So yeah, he's someone that we got good output from the first half of the year as a back, but the team required a small forward there for a period, which he's been there since about round 14, I think. So yeah, we're really pleased with his progress as a forward.
How did the returning guys get through? Finn, Jackson, Hamilton, I think Alec Wright also copped a hit during the game.
Yeah, so Callow dislocated his kneecap, and to get back in a short period of time and perform the way he did is a reflection of him and his competitiveness, but also a medical and strength conditioning team that they built him up beautifully to be ready to go by last Thursday to do full training. Hamilton was fine. Yeah, he performed the way he usually does, really consistently. Any role that's required, he does for us. And Finn Hurd been out for 6 weeks, so he did a lot of work to be ready to play. I thought he tried for Australia yesterday. His effort was huge, and he had a lot of good impact moments. Had a bit of untidy stuff as well, but all in all, the 3 return to play guys had impact. And yeah, Alec I think's fine. Yeah, sorry, got fell behind the ball there at one stage. So I think he was winded. We were a bit concerned. He's got shoulder history and all that. There might have been something a bit more sinister to his body, but it was more just a behind the play incident.
Matt Panos also returned through the reserves. That's a helpful inclusion at this time of year.
Sure it is, yeah. There's a lot that's gone on with Nos because of the injury, the delicacy of it. It's round 4 since he's played, and he and I have been in constant dialogue as to when and what is going to require to get his spot back. And playing reserves was important to prove to himself, his teammates, the coaches, that he can absorb a full game. And I was impressed with how he played. He won his contest. It was a really poor performance from our reserves, but the way he stood up to his opportunities, which were few and far between at times, was very pleasing. So now he convinced himself and us that he can complete a game, and it's really over to us now and work out whether it's the right thing for him to be available for selection and be selected in the team. So there's a bit to play out there, but from his end of the bargain, he definitely fulfilled it.
Yeah, and the way this final series works, you minor premiers, week off, this game, another week off. Is that the perfect preparation for a grand final?
We've done it the other way around as well, Josh. We played every week, and we felt that was pretty perfect for us because it was relevant at the time. But yeah, the situation presents that we get a week off at the completion of the qualifying period. We've handled that well. We were able to get a good result yesterday. And the system and the competition says we get another week off. So we just take it for what it is, and we run a really good program when we do have weekends off. And Scott Bassett, he's very, very professional performer when it comes to what we need to do, and I trust him implicitly. I get a bit edgy sometimes and want to do more training, but he's very measured. He and Tommy Gretsch would tell me what's required, and I trust them. So we'll manage our training, the attendance of when they need to be here, when a bit of time off is appropriate, but it'll be a good build-up.
Yeah, Glenelg or Centrals, it's going to be a great grand final either way, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I think that both clubs have had they've had a good battle both times this year, once down at the Bay and one out at the Ponderosa. So different ways they've gone in. I think Glenelg are in really good form. It was a quality final between them and Sturt yesterday. Their scoring power took over, and Centrals, whilst didn't have a great game in the second half against us yesterday, their win over Sturt was very meritorious. So it lends itself to a great prelim, which is what you should get once you get this time of year. But we watch eagerly and then see who our opponent is. Yeah,
there was a lot of smiles and hugs and happy faces in the rooms from the boys yesterday. How important was it to properly enjoy winning that semi-final?
Yeah, well, I've mentioned this a couple of times, Josh. I'm pleased you raised it. This enjoyment factor's real. Like, we've had some people in our club suffer a fair bit of hardship this year, and it makes you have that perspective check of what we're lucky enough to do. Are we in an environment we enjoy? Do we like doing it with who we're doing it with? And resoundingly, that's yes. And to see our supporters, our families of players, our board happy, I get a lot of nourishment out of that in my position, and our coaches as well. I've been really wrapped with our coaching group this year, and to see their investment, emotional investment into Norwood throughout the year, not just because we're winning, but throughout the year in lots of ways. That's been that very enjoyable as well. So I just want our people to love watching our club and be entertained by what our players do and be proud of the club.
Thanks, Vic.
Hey, Josh.